This is not fair. Yesterday, I started filming the video, my trying to recall the Chinese movies and dramas that I've seen. It's a very short list. There's only like 12 of them or something, movies and dramas included, that I had to talk about. So I started recording, and I had about something like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I had to stop for like an hour and a half because people were making noise in the kitchen, which is right beside my room, so that doesn't work. And then I got to start filming again, and got interrupted again because other rooms were also right beside my room, and people were making noise right outside my door again. This time it was only like a maybe 10-minute pause, maybe 5-minute pause, and I finished filming, and then I took something like 4.5 hours editing the video and rewatching it to make sure that it was all really good. And then I renamed it and put it in its forever home and deleted all the stuff I didn't need and uploaded it onto YouTube. And as I'm finishing writing the description, of course my bird clock starts going. You do not understand how hard making videos is in my house. Or maybe you sort of do, or will, after seeing this. Where was I? Uploading the video onto YouTube. And the suggested thumbnail came up, and I'm like, why is it only 9 minutes long when my video is supposed to be 34 minutes long? And that's when I realized I renamed and moved the wrong video. Which means after all that work, I deleted my video instead of uploading it. "34 minutes of authentic reacting in the moment. And it's all gone. Forever. It's gone." That was supposed to be the next video, because it was nice and short. I'm not refilming it now. Not at this moment. It'll have to be a while before I refilm it. And it's going to be basically a reenactment at best, because the truly authentic original is gone forever. It took me like 5.5 hours, or at least 5 hours, to like get that video done. And it's gone. It was really good too, in my opinion. I enjoyed it, and I was really happy. Now I can hear the cat, probably. Because my house is just always noisy now. I never, ever, ever get a moment's peace. Never. Anyway, now with that 3 minutes of sadness, and now that the cat is making noise, hold on, I'll wait and see if she shuts up before I go any further. This is my cat's reaction when Tilly starts meowing like that. She's sleeping and doesn't move at all, and then her eye opens. And she just stares. You and me both, Chiaki. You and me both. Okay, anyway. I want to keep doing this. To take any moment I can. My house is so noisy. I don't have privacy. I wanted the... Maybe I should refilm the Chinese one right now. I wanted that one done. I can't believe it's gone. And it made me all excited because I got to talk about something that I haven't talked about a whole lot. Even though I have. Because... Okay, no. I'm going to start in with the Japanese stuff. I'm just going to start with the Japanese stuff. I might have to do 2 videos on the Japanese movies because, you know what? As I'm going through my Japanese list and I was deleting all the ones that I do have a record for, dramas and movies combined, there's only 19 that I deleted. This is going to be a very, very, very long series of videos just for the Japanese stuff. Cat's looking at me. Not the one that was meowing, the one that was sleeping. Now, for some reason, she's awake and looking at me. Probably because I'm filming this so early in the morning. Early in the morning on my books, okay? Shush, I'm not telling you what time it is. Point is, I don't know, let's just have a moment of whatever here. Get to know me. What is it like? while I'm trying to wake up and whatever. Point is, what was I saying? The point is, what was I saying? There is so much I want to talk about now. Like, literally, reading all of these, looking at all of these, my passion. I love talking about Asian dramas and whatever. I love talking about stories. I love doing this. I really do, in case you can't tell. So I really want to talk. But there's so much to talk about that I just have to get going on it. And it's like, I can't believe that video's gone. Japanese stuff. I need to start talking about the Japanese stuff. This introduction is very long now. Maybe I should just make this a completely separate video. You know what? I will do that. I will make this a completely separate video because then I can tack on the 9-minute video. That was... It's not a 9-minute video anymore. There's part of it that I cut out. I had it cut down. Even that part of it was cut down. And I made a nice little shorter thing. And the whole thing was 34 minutes. It's gone. So whatever. I'm going to put that here. This is the video you get right now. And then I'm going to start working on the Japanese movie one. And you'll get that whenever I manage to get it filmed and edited and put up. So, thanks for watching this little thing. Come cry with me. Hello, and thanks for clicking on this video. The number 2 in the series that I have no idea how long it'll be long. I mean, I have a vague idea, but we'll have to see how long this series of videos will be. Basically, can my memory recall when I have very little, if anything, to jog it with. When my house burned down, I lost all the records that I was keeping, so I had to reconstruct the list. And it's very close to complete, I think. After my younger sister, watched my first Korean one, the one where I went through all the movies that I had no record of, she randomly remembered another Korean movie that we had seen, and I was like, huh? And then I saw pictures and I was like, okay. And she was jogging my memories because she remembers it, but it's okay, I admit, yes, I must have seen that one, but... So, that's the thing. I do not have a good memory, but at the same time, sometimes there are some things that I do remember, and this is just kind of for fun to see what I can remember about this stuff. This video that I'm doing right now, as you can see by the title, I'm going to go through the Chinese ones that I have no record of, because this one, there's way less. Here's the thing. You know how every human being has the awkward teenage years? I swear, when it comes to filming stuff, filming companies had their awkward teenage years, where it's like, no matter what it was, like a whole lot of stuff, even in, like, America and Canada, like, we had our awkward years too, whereas, like, everything from the 90s was, like, cringe. Like, seriously, cringe. There was so much about it that is, like, super authentic and next door neighbor feeling, and the actors actually acted back then, and there was a whole lot about it that, like, we lost that was, like, super valuable and we desperately need to get back again. But there was also a lot of awkwardness happening, okay? A lot of awkwardness. And I think some countries got over some of that awkwardness faster than others did. China took a while. And it's kind of the same with the Japanese stuff, in the sense that, for some reason, it is really easy to find the really awkward stuff that's not... why is that being sold over here? Versus the actual good stuff. Like, if you look up the Japanese stuff, even on Netflix, even on Viki, I've gone through the lists of stuff that they have from Japan, and I'm like, this is not the good stuff, people. They've got so much on, like, me. They don't have the good stuff. Believe me, when I get to my videos and I'm talking about the Japanese stuff, I almost never talk about Japanese stuff on my channel, because, like, I don't know how interested people are. I don't know, like, where's the Japanese interested crowd? It's smaller than anything, and that's partially because you can't get a hold of the good stuff easily. You really gotta dig for it and go looking for it to find the really good Japanese stuff. And I still keep saying, man, I'm rambling, but at the same time, I keep saying I really do need to do, like, a video of comparison, because China versus Korea versus Japan, they all film their stuff so differently. They have a completely different way of focusing and a completely different way of, like, It's just so different. And when you get into the track of one of them, it's a little hard to jump into one of the others because they're all so different in the way they film and the way they feel and the way they make you feel when you're watching. And I should know what I'm talking about. I have seen July 2021 was when my house burned down. So since then, halfway through the year 2021 is when I started getting records again. And since then, I've seen 188 dramas and movies. Most of them have been Chinese because that's what the kick is. I found good websites that actually give you content that is decent enough that it's easy to find the Chinese stuff. It's still not easy to find the really good Korean ones, and it's even harder to find the really good Japanese ones. So I've been struggling. But, because I'm pretty sure the count was like 480 something, I think, when I lost my records books. So it's gotta be like well over 500 by now. Asian dramas, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. So I do know what I'm talking about. I'm not just a newbie, okay? But I went back and I took out, because of my record on the computer, I'm adding this stuff even from these books, so I have it all in one spot. So I took out everything that I do have a record of, and I mean, it's one of these books. I have a physical copy of the book. Like, you open it up, and... Which one did I open it to? Haha, Legend of Zonghai. A really good one that you should go see. I made a video all about this one, but that's the kind of record I'm talking about. This is what I do. I have pictures of it that I print out, and I write my opinions of it and stuff like that. That's the record I'm talking about. I lost that for everything when the house burned down. Now, I don't have that anymore, so I don't remember what my opinion of these things was. Unless, like, okay, brain, do you even remember that I watched this drama, let alone what it was about, let alone what I thought of it? And here's the thing, with the Chinese stuff, you used to be able to get those bad Chinese movies, those super cringy, why did you made money off of this, people actually bought this, I spent money on this, those kind of movies. I'm honestly not sure how many of them that I saw before I started keeping any kind of record. There was a few of them that I remembered that I had seen, so they ended up on my record list, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting some of them now, and some of them, like, here's the even trickier part. I was going to mention that after, but let's just start with Jackie Chan. That's a really good example of, there was two of them, Operation Condor and New Police Academy or something like that. Now I forget what my sister called it. She rattles it off easy. She knows the name of it, and I think there was potentially a third one as well. Where, like, dubbing. I don't know, like, most of these ones the Chinese dubbed over, okay, the English didn't necessarily suck, but that's the thing. It is a dub over. We didn't get the original Chinese movies. We got the Chinese movie with English dubbing. That's how they made it over here. So, like, how many movies did I see that, like, I didn't realize that it was originally a Chinese movie because, you know, didn't catch on when a brain is young enough that this is actually a dub over? Good question. I don't know. Either way, that's an example of how many of them did I see. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's literally 5 Chinese movies that I can talk about. 6 that I can talk about. One of them I don't remember the name of. This is fun. "34 minutes of authentic reacting in the moment. And it's all gone. Forever. It's gone." Okay. Literally right after saying goodbye, come cry with me. Let's bye. Now this one. We'll just have a weird introduction today because I'm in a weird mood because I'm not completely awake. I'm going to start into the Japanese movies right now because I have to get going somehow, somewhere. And, like, stuff that I really want to talk about. At the same time, I feel like I'm not going to be able to talk for very long before I get interrupted making this video. So I might as well start with this stuff rather than the stuff like, you know, the Super Sentai or the Kamen Riders or something that once I start talking about that, I don't want to stop talking about that. And so, like, you know, if I get interrupted in the middle of doing this, that's better and easier than if I get interrupted in the middle of doing something like that. So let's just start on the Japanese movies because they don't take as long to talk about. Some of these movies I remember really well because some of these movies I have rewatched. See, I already got interrupted again. About 5 minutes of peace and quiet, and it wasn't peace and quiet. Anyway, you can hear noise from this. You can hear noise from everything else. I'm going to talk about the Japanese movies. What on earth was I even saying? I went through the list of everything that I have no records of with the Japanese movies and dramas and whatever. Yes, I closed my door, and you can probably still hear sounds out there. This is what I'm talking about. On this list of everything that I have a record of, with the buried underneath stuff. When I say I have a record, I'm talking about this kind of book. So I open it to a blank page. 19th floor. And then I have like this book that I started doing October 2022 because I was ranting and raving about the things that I was watching. Because like way back in the day, my younger sister and my best friend used to watch Asian dramas and movies and stuff with me. They would watch stuff, I would watch stuff, we'd get each other to watch stuff, we'd watch stuff at the same time for the first time together, etc., etc. That's how it used to be. And then my younger sister stopped watching Asian dramas because, like, she stopped watching a lot of stuff because she got back into reading more. She reads a lot. And my best friend is off doing other stuff. And whatever Asian stuff she does watch, she watches it with her siblings instead of me now. So, like, I have nobody to talk to anymore. What did I say the other day? It was August, in the video that got deleted. I said my first record was August 2021. And of course, my Japanese journey started with the games, Final Fantasy. And then I got into the anime. I was watching anime a long time before I realized I was watching anime. But the very purposeful, I knew I was watching anime and I wanted to watch it. The first ones that I remember watching, I'm sure there was others, but the ones that stick into my mind as the ones were the original Beyblade and the original, oh my gosh, the name ran away from me. What the crap? It has never run away from me before. I am literally picturing him and I can't remember the name of it. Oh no. Oh no, brain. What did you just do? Oh no. What the crap is it called? It's... Oh no. If I ever remember it somewhere in the middle of this video, I'm going to be like, I can't remember what it's called. You've got pictures here, so you watching this know what it's called, but I cannot remember what it's called. And I've got enough other stuff open. I don't want to type up what on earth it's called. That one. Why can I not remember what it's called? See? See? This is what my brain does to me all the time. Can I recall or not? Sometimes I've got no problem recalling. Other times, boom. I cannot recall to save my life. I'm not making this up, folks. I cannot remember what it's called. This is the first time in my life I've ever forgotten what it was called. Anyway, I'm not even supposed to be talking about anime. This is just the setup. Rambling on and on and on. I need separate videos just to have the setup thing in between. What was I saying? Those are the ones that stick out in my head as, like, I really liked them. And I still really like them. The original ones. There was a second season of the one that I cannot remember what it's called. Still. Metabots! Oh no! It took me that long. The original first season of Metabots. I didn't like the second one because they changed all the voices and they changed the pronunciation of the names and it was just a dumb season. It was basically a repeat. It was pointless and stupid. The original Beyblades, I loved it. The V-Force one was idiotic and stupid and irritating and undid everything the original one did, etc., etc., etc. Other Beyblade ones way later, like for the first time ever, I saw a few episodes of Beyblade X recently, and the character, I forget what his name was because I was only sort of watching it. I was at my friend's place and we were talking and getting supper ready and all that stuff in the middle of everything too. But I don't remember his name, but X. He was making me quite interested and I actually kind of want to go and watch it. And this is shocking because I have not purposefully found and wanted to watch anime in like over a decade. Once I got into the live stuff, I wasn't interested in the anime anymore. I just can't be interested in these cartoon character lines anymore when I've seen the real people moving around on screen. Totally different feeling. It just doesn't work for me anymore. However, that one, I mean, I have rewatched a couple of them. Like, you know, Gundam Seed and even Beyblade. But in the video that got deleted... Actually, no, it's in the video that didn't get deleted, but I cut it out because I'm not supposed to be talking about the anime. But, like, when they first started bringing anime over into America and Canada, They like dubbed it over with English dubbing, and their English script sucked massively. Like, it's not even, like, it just so bad. If you watch Beyblade in English and then you watch it in the original Japanese, there's no going back with the English. I can't do it. And even Gundam Seed, the voice actors, I loved the voice actors. They did a pretty decent job in Beyblade and in Gundam Seed. And like their voices, there's some of them like I love those voices. They're just the right voices. In the original Japanese, they have a super bad habit of using women to voice boys. If they're like, 13 or younger, they use women to do it all the time. And most of the time, the women don't even mask the fact they're women. So, like, yes, I know the boys' voices are, like, higher pitched and cracking and all the rest of that kind of stuff, but it's still a boy's voice versus a woman's voice. There's still a difference. So, you know what? I have a feeling all of this is going to be tacked on to the other video as well, because this is too much of this is way too long. This is, like, when I say, like, I'm into the Japanese stuff, like, I am into the Japanese stuff and there's a reason for it, okay? I have a long history of being into the Japanese stuff. And, like, maybe a lot of people on my channel aren't interested in the Japanese stuff. I'd like to know why. Is it because, like, my theory is that it's because people just can't find it. You just legit can't find the good stuff. And when we go through the movies, you'll see even I was really bad at finding the good stuff at first. There's a few of these movies, like literally the first two on my list, like the only reason I watched them, basically, is because I didn't know any better. Like, this is what was available, so I thought this is what it was like. And boy, was I wrong, because like, oh my gosh. Anyway, Japanese stuff, it legit is very unique. And if you don't understand anything about it, it is just not right for a lot of people. Like, when I talk about sleeper movies, what is a sleeper movie? I have kind of said it before. The Koreans have done it. The Chinese have done it. But the Japanese are masters at it. And I only recently discovered, most likely, I was watching something about the beauty of shadows. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. This cultural aspect of their culture, like especially if you go into the countryside of Japan, you still find it today. And this is like a big aspect of what I call the sleeper stuff. It has very much to do with the lighting of stuff. So like in sleeper movies, they're often focused on like greens and blues and like black and white. And it has to do with the sound because there's very little, if any, music. And the script itself is delivered very quietly, not necessarily whispering like Fangs of Fortune did. It's subdued. The sound is very, very subdued. The lighting is subdued, the sound is subdued, and all of a sudden that word subdued is sounding very weird. You know how sometimes you repeat a word and by the fifth time you said it, you're like, what on earth am I even saying? This word is so foreign to me, I don't think I've ever heard it before. Sleeper stories, they have this really bad habit of like basically the whole time you're watching it, you're like, and if you're in the right mood or whatever while you're watching it, you don't necessarily even notice that you're half asleep until like you pause it for a minute and you're like, oh, whoa, I'm half asleep. They have a point where they finally get to the point and you're like, all of a sudden, finally, just boom, you reach the point of the story and you're like, oh, that's what this whole thing was for. And that's a sleeper story. And that is what the Japanese, as far as I'm concerned, are infamous for. And some of the sleeper ones are still really good. And some of them are like, I can't do it. I know that it'll be good eventually. I know we're going to reach the point eventually. But this is a drama. And it's 12 episodes long. And I'm only like 4 episodes in. And I am so... So, anyway, the Japanese are famous for that. We'll see how many of them I remember, whether they're sleepers or not. And this is a super duper 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 long introduction, which is why I'm deciding whatever, this is going to be a completely separate video. But it is also important because context. This is known as context. The context of introduction, because most people on my channel don't seem to have a clue or care about having a clue about the Japanese stuff. But I really would like to introduce it to y'all because, like, You shouldn't just ignore it. If you can go and find the good ones, they are gems that are worth it. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of Japanese stuff that is way, way better than the Chinese stuff and the Korean stuff. It's way better. There are some real gems in the Japanese stuff. I promise there is. Even if it's been a long, long time since I've seen these things, so I don't remember necessarily accurately. I have kind of mentioned some of them before on my channel. I've made music videos that have referenced some of them before. So, that is my super long introduction. This is what I will edit together with other stuff, and I will put it up in place of my video that got deleted. Which I will eventually refilm, because that is part of the stuff. Anyway, let's finally get past this. I think I've said this 3 times already. Let's finally end this one and go talk about the actual movies that I don't have a record for. I hope that you'll watch and that you'll get pulled in and that you'll get sucked in. Things to come. There's the movies, and there's the dramas, and there's the Super Sentai, and there's the Kamen Riders. The Super Sentai started in 1975, I think it was. 1974, 1975. It was the mid-70s that the Super Sentai started. Power Rangers did not start until the 1990s. Mid-1990s. 70, 80, 90. Like, Super Sentais were around for 20 years-ish before the Power Rangers came around. Power Rangers are literally the cheapest knockoff I have ever seen of anything. They are so bad in comparison to the original Super Sentais. You can't compare them. Like, you know, fake gems versus real gems? Power Rangers aren't even as good as fake gems in comparison to the real gems. Oi! Oi, 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 oi. Oi! And I don't think we have an equivalent over here to the Kamen Riders. And in my opinion, the Kamen Riders are even better than the Sentais. Even though they have their major flaws. But those are going to be completely separate videos. There's going to be at least one video that is only Super Sentai and at least one video that is only Kamen Riders. And I hope you'll at least give me a fair shot in all of this. Hear me out. Please hear me out, at least, with all of this. So, let's finally end this, now that this video is going to be something like half an hour at least. The memory of my video that got deleted. Is it on? Anyway, let's end this here and actually get on to the movies. Now that I've said that for like the 5th time.